is up, my planting people? My name is Lithius and welcome to Roots Ready. Today's the weekend and today is my plant chore day. So I'm hoping to share that with you guys today. On the camera is my sister. She's going to be helping me out with this video today. So much appreciation to her for that. A couple of things we're going to do today. So we're going to water the majority of the plants. And I'm also going to be showing you what my regular pest management method is, so stay tuned for that. So today's a bit of an odd one. I usually only fertilize my plants once every month, and I kind of timed that by payday. So payday is just gone, so I know it's time to fertilize my plants. And to do that, I'm using Formulex right here, and I'm going to link this in the description as well. I think it's a great fertilizer. Very versatile as well. I think it's really complete, unlike a lot of other fertilizers. And you can actually use it for hydroponics as well as soil gardening as well. So I think it's a great option. And I've got that for my fertilizer, and SB Plant Investigator and Plant Killer for pest management. Now this is an insecticidal soap, which is what it says on the tin. It is just a soap that gets into the bodies of any bugs that may be there, and it just sort of dissolves them away. Now I try to do this with every watering. I haven't done it for the past maybe 2 weeks, so it's due a little top up. So to do that, I follow the instructions. I have my 2 bottles here that I fill up and I just go around pouring water all over the plant. I'll measure it out as per the instructions. I'm going to do my hydroponic in the smaller one because I think a lot of my soil plants are much bigger. So for the hydroponic, it is 10 milliliters per liter of water. This is a 2-liter bottle. So we're going to put in 20 mils, and this one is half the dosage, so only 5 milliliters per liter. As I'm going along watering these plants, I'm going to be giving them a little spritz of this insecticidal soap. Instructions on this is 10 mils per liter of water. I find a liter is just what I need to do all of my plants. And we'll start off in here in my kitchen with the plants that are here. Most of these are in soil. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of water, each of them. I used to sort of water until it drains out, but because it's winter, I'll just lightly water them. So I'll put this back where it lives, and I'll do the rest. There we go. This is in hydroponics, so I won't be watering this. I am not going to water the cactus, but I will water this little euphorbia. Just gently. In my experience, I find that euphorbias like a bit more water, just ever so slightly, than cactus do. This right here is my desert rose. I water it based on how the codex feels. It's still quite firm, so I won't be watering that. This one is very light, and I know that it needs a bit of water, so I will be a bit more generous with this one. Perfect. The cactus, I won't water them because I watered them maybe 2 weeks ago. So I try to water them once a month in the winter, just so that the roots don't decay on me. I've got my avocado plant here that I am trying to shape so that I can pot it up. Just gonna add a little bit more water, just top it up. There we go. This is my bird of paradise, which is in hydroponics. I'll give it some of this water. Just a little, because it's still got some water in its reservoir. And next, we're going to give them a little spray. You want to make sure you get the leaves, the front, the back, all of these ones over here. I'll move the toaster out of the way. Because as I said, I do this quite regularly, so go through quite quickly. Last year I had a bit of spider mites, so I want to make sure that I especially get the cactus, because they do Spider-Mans do seem to love them. And I forgot this Stefania as well, so I'm just going to give it some water just in the reservoir, and this plant as well. Alright, so the kitchen is done. Let's move on to the living room. Alright, so we're in the living room right now where I do most of my filming. And the plants dotted all around. There's a lot mainly inside of this grow tent. There's some back here on that shelf, on the windowsill as well. So we're going to try to get to all of them. Not try to, we are going to get to all of them. Alright, so we can start this section right here. These are the crawling philodendron over here. So I'm just going to top it up. I've sort of got like a rough idea on how high I want this water level to come to. I also made a few holes in the container as well, just so that I don't overfill it, and to allow for me to do to flush the lecker easily as well. So I've actually done a video about that, and I'll link it in the description as well. Just there. I've got my winds. This big philodendron over here, so I'll give that some water. This one's also in lecker, so I'll give that some. These two plants here are also in lecker, so I'll just give it just a little top up. Same with the fiddle leaf fig. This one, I'm not going to give it any water. I checked yesterday and there's still some water, quite a bit of water left in the reservoir, so I'll just leave this for now. So I'm going to grab my big bottle and I'm going to get some of the soil plants now. I'm going to get the Monstera, the big boy. Back here, got to sort of climb over so far. This one is actually in lecker, so this one I just tend to go with the half dilution rate. I'll go ahead and water it with this. I tend to pour it onto the lecker, this one, as well as onto the side, just to make sure, because it's quite a big pot, I just want to make sure that all of the roots get access to that water. Alright, so quickly I'm going to get to the window ledge over here. So I'll get these two and this one. I find that this plant actually to be quite thirsty. Look at the size of this leaf. I think this is the biggest leaf I've had of this plant ever, and that's quite impressive actually. This cactus I won't be watering. I think it's going to be alright for now. And then finally this plant over on this shelf. I'm just going to pour it in over the top. Alright, so this one over here, just give it a little bit of water, like so. Alright, so now we're going to get into the grow tent. The majority of the plants in here, if not all of them, are in hydroponics. So I am going to be, I might have to top up on this bottle over here. Let's get into it. Here we go. Ooh, this one is thirsty. Very thirsty. Alright, so I'll show you guys. This is the Anthurium cuticoensis. This leaf is growing beautifully, but it's really, really dry. And this one doesn't like to be on the dry side. And I think this leaf is, there we go, ready to come off. So I'll get rid of that and I will give that a good hold water. So I've got a little mini Anthurium regale here. This one is in moss, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of water. The moss tends to hold quite a bit of water, so I'm a little bit more generous with this one. So here's my Stefania Nova. It's still got water in its reservoir, so I'm just going to leave it for now. But you can just see that growth. I'm not sure if these are like seed pods or flowers or what they are, but it's quite cute. I've got a Queen Anthurium chunk that is, I'm trying to propagate in this pot. I haven't had any luck with it yet, but I always like to check on it, see how it's doing. It's still firm, so there's still some hope. But if I don't get anything out of this chunk, I've got lots of live sphagnum moss growing wonderfully. I'm hoping to add to some of my other plants. I've got my my pitcher plant over here. This leaf, this pitcher over here is on its way out, as is this one, but we've got some new ones coming in. This one over here, and then this little embryo over here. This one I won't be watering it with nutrient water. What I'm going to do is just come back and just give it some plain water, because these don't like too much build up of nutrients in the soil, because that can be quite damaging, because they do get most of the nutrients from the actual bugs and insects that they eat. So I'm going to come back to this one. Alright, so these ones, it gets a bit mangled and busy in here. So what I tend to do, I just try to reach inside and water this Yeti like so. As you can see, this plant. So this is the Anthurium regale cross magnificum over here. This is the chunk that we propagated sometime last year, and it's now putting out its second leaf, looking wonderful and striking. I'm gonna give that a little bit of water. We've got this alocasia black velvet over here. This is in need of a repot actually, so I am gonna have to do that very, very soon. I'm just been a bit lazy with this one, to be fair, but I need to sort this out. I've run out of my my hydroponic solution, but it's alright. I'm just gonna water these ones here. There's not too many left. Just a little bit of water. Lovely. And these final ones here, these are quite a little bit larger, so I just go in and just chuck in a little bit of water. Especially this one. And then this one over here, which is actually budding. Have a look at that. We've got an inflow on here. Can't wait to see where we get with this. It's not receptive yet, but here's hoping. Give that a little bit of water. This as well I find is a little bit of a thirsty one. This is the melanochrysum that I propagated recently. So this is the main chunk. I just have a quick look in here. I can see that it needs a bit of water, so I'll go ahead and just top that up. So I've got my Clerenervium here. Look at it, doing really, really well. It's just put out this leaf for me, a nice big round leaf, looking really, really cool. And it had this inflorescence that it kept for a very, very long time. It was literally on this plant for maybe a month or two. So I'm really surprised. It's only now starting to dry up. I'm gonna wait for it to completely dry up and I'm gonna pluck it out when it's ready to do so. But it's doing really, really well, coming along nicely. I may have to find a way to get this one a little bit deeper in the pot. As you can see, that stem is now coming up quite a ways and it is a bit wobbly and there is a risk of it snapping and breaking off. So I'm going to try to repot that in the summer actually, or in the spring. So stay tuned for that. And the last step is just to go through and give all of these plants a nice spray down with the insecticidal soap. Plain water for the carnivorous plants. I'm going to give that some water. Grab the sprayer and just generously go through. What typically happens is that the floor gets really wet when I spray down the plants. So I've got my little cloth here and I just go through, make sure that I clean the floor. It can make for a very slippery surface, so protect yourselves and wipe down as you go along. Okay, so that's it for in here. I'm going to get everything back to where it needs to be, and then I'm going to head over into my room where I have another large collection of plants. So welcome to my room. What I've done is, for the purpose of this video, I've actually moved my plants from this bottom shelf, which is a little bit awkward to film. I've put them here so you can see it. That shelf is usually home to majority my Hoya shelf, and this dragon scale alocasia right here with some leaves. But also, interestingly enough, I want to start by showing you guys this that I've only recently noticed. This is coming into flower. Oh my days, I cannot believe it. I never thought that this plant could flower so quickly. I know that when these things bloom, it impacts on the subsequent leaves because it takes so much energy to grow. The other leaves usually come out a little bit before. But it's my first one. I'm going to leave it and see what it looks like. There are some leaves on here that need to be plucked off. I will take care of that before watering them. So as before, I'm just going to go through and water this dragon scale because it is in need. Whoops, I spilled it. It's in need of some water. So I've got this Hoya here. I think it's I've got two Hoyas in soil, and this is one of the two. I'm just going to water that just a little. So this Hoya here, I'm not going to water right now. And that's just because it's still got loads of water left in the reservoir. It's going to be okay for now. This Hoya here doesn't need little bit of water, so we're gonna go ahead and top that. This Hoya Jennifer, loads of water. Yeah, so it's fine. Lots of water, that will last quite a while actually. And I want to show you guys this leaf over here. Can you see that it's the newest one? I don't know what's happened to it. It's really close to the grow light. The grow light is literally like here, and the light, the leaf is here. So I did expect it to be a little bit sun stressed, but this doesn't look sun stressed to me. The leaf is fully hardened off now, so it's not going to grow anymore. You can see like this leaf was huge when it came in, not so much on this one. So I'm not sure. I'm going to keep an eye on it just to make sure that there isn't anything wrong with the plant. It doesn't seem to have any pests or anything like that. But as I said, I'll just keep an eye on it and see what the cause of this might be. So this Hoya right here, I actually went ahead and propagated it. I noticed that the bottom leaves of the main plant started to go a little bit soft, and it started to affect these ones as well. So at the risk of losing the entire plant, I decided to make 3 cuttings and stick it in some leca, have it under a grow light, so that I just increase my chances of keeping this plant in my collection, because I really do like this plant, and I would hate to see it perish. So yeah, hopefully that does all right. I think it's got enough water. It is a propagation. I think it's all right for now. And then this Hoya over here, my Fuawensis, is doing fine as well. Hasn't put out any new growth for a little while, but it is a little bit of a slow grower, or slower grower for me. But it's doing all right. Very cute. Look at those. Those are the latest leaves on there. This one, Stera Peru, however, is a bit of a thirsty boy, so I'm gonna go ahead and give that a good drink of water. It is also in soil, so hopefully that will be all right for another week. All right, so I'm gonna get these back to where they were, so I can get some of these plants that are on the higher shelves down, so you guys can have a better look. So those are done, and now I'm gonna take care of these plants. So I've taken everything off these shelves that are in need of watering. I've left my Vitalifolium up here because that one's fine. It's still got water in its reservoir, so it doesn't need anything just yet. And I've left my String of Hearts up there because that's also fine. And then after this, I'm going to tackle the mini greenhouse, and I'll do that shortly. So most of these plants are trading plants. I hope you can see them all clearly in this shot. So here's one of my Scindapsus. This one is quite light, so I can tell that it's in need of a good drink. So I'm going to go ahead and really get that one nice and watered. So that's going to be fine now. This does need a bit of propping, because honestly guys, like, have a look at these vines. Like, it's like just goes and keeps going and keeps going. So and it's still quite bare up here, so I want to get that sorted out quite soon. This is my Crinkle 8, my Hoya Crinkle 8. Again, I'm going to go ahead, give that a good drink. Not too much on this one, because this plant I find prefers to be on the drier side. So I'm only going to lightly water this one. This is my Philodendron Patriciae. That one's actually okay, still got water in the reservoir, so I'm going to leave that be for now. I did say earlier on that I've got 2 Hoyas in soil. In fact, it's actually 3. I've also got this Linearis over here, and again, this one seems to be quite dry, so I'm going to give that a good drink. I've got another Scindapsus here. Again, this one has been recently propagated, so I like to keep it on the wetter side, although this doesn't look super wet. It is a bit dry, so I'm just going to give that one a nice water. I think this one's in need of a repot also. Oh guys, I've got something really exciting to show you. I'm going to introduce you guys to this Anthurium leaf here. It's the newest one. It was just a little baby a couple of weeks ago, and now it's fully grown in. It's nice and hardened off. This was the leaf that came out just before this one, so it was pretty new, but for whatever reason the plant seemed to have gotten rid of it, so I'm just going to pluck it out. A bit of a shame, but anyway, it's still holding on to this leaf surprisingly, which is the oldest leaf on this plant. So I'm really surprised that this is still here, still going strong, and then this leaf as well. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a nice little drink. I like to pour it over the moss, because there's quite a lot of aerial roots all this moss, which is why I added it in basically. So now I'm going to give this one a bit of a drink. I'm going to check the reservoir. Still got some water in there, but what I'm going to do is just give it a little bit just to keep that moss on the top moist. Oh god, guys, this plant is going to be amazing. It's going to be a heartbreaker, this one. Have a look at this leaf. Gorgeous, that bright sort of deep maroon red color. It's just gorgeous. I really do like this plant. I'm going to give that a bit of water. And I mentioned this previously actually, and be careful with this leaf, that this plant has an inflow. It's now starting to open up, which I'm really happy about, and I really want to pollinate this Spadex with some Forgetii pollen. So that's back, that's great. I'm going to get this greenhouse down now and get the plants in there watered. So first I need to put these plants back. So here's the greenhouse. I'm going to try to get these plants out one at a time, just to give you guys a better look at it. This is my philodendron 6968 something or another, one of those numbers. I'll get it in the screen so you guys know what I'm talking about. I think there's signs that it's going to start to develop those lobes very, very soon. You can see that over here starting to take on a little bit of a shape, unlike the other leaves that came before. So hopefully that gets going quite soon. So I need to get this on a pole actually, so that will be a project for another time. This is in fact in pond. I've noticed that the water is running out in the reservoir, so I'm just going to top this up a little bit. Looking good. Put that to the side. So this is my Crystosperma johnstonii, and it's just put out this new leaf, and I could have sworn just a couple of days it was tiny. It was probably about sort of this big, and now it's grown so much. This leaf has seen better days, but I guess it's still holding on somewhat. So I'm just going to quickly check. Still got some water in the reservoir, but I'm going to go ahead and top this up. I usually top it up to the top because this plant is a bit of a amphibious one. I'm going to go ahead and put that right back in here. This is another johnstonii, but it seemed to have died back on me, and I'm not sure if there's still life in this. I'm gonna try to pull it out of the pot, see what we're working. It still seems quite solid. Oh, we got some roots. Oh no, we're still good. Yeah, we're still good. It's still got life in it, and possibly a little growth point here. Oh, that's good news. That's really good news. So I'm going to go ahead and repot this in a second. And here we have my Hoya velosa. Doesn't need any water. Let's have a look. Yes, it does. That is bone dry. So I'm going to go ahead and give that some water, like so. That should do it. And you can see it's got a little growth point, a little nub coming in just here. So that is exciting. And look at this beauty, guys. My king anthurium. This leaf is starting to go a bit lopsided. I'm not sure why. I think it might have something to do with this new leaf that's coming up. Look at that. Look at that. I couldn't be happier. I'm hoping that it's going to be a big one. That's what I would love to see. It's dry. It's really dry. So I'm going to get some water into this. Yeah, I think it's still alright. It's still got moisture in it. You can see that, you know, there's definitely some condensation happening, and the plant seems to be doing alright. But I think it no longer needs to be in this greenhouse, so I'm gonna take it out actually today. Here's this little burn mark. It actually came with this, but it's since gotten a bit paler. But yes, hopefully the next leaf is gonna be a bit more ribbed and pillowy than this one. So hopefully, you know, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and see where this leaf takes us. I'm going to give this some water, just like that. And as I said, I'm going to find this plant a new spot to live in, and I'll figure that out in a second. So there you have it. It's in its new pot now. It's a bit deep, if I'm being honest. It's a little bit deeper than I expected. So the plant looks like it's being swallowed up by the pot, but hey ho, what can you do? I'm gonna quickly repot this Crystosperma. I think they also call this plant an alocasia blackjack. So I'm just gonna repot this quickly. Just take out some of the soil or some of the pond, like so. Pop this back in, just like so, and reapply the pond. So now that it's back in, I'm just gonna top it up again right to the top and just put it back. I find that this plant actually, despite it not having any leaves, is really thirsty. How strange. And I think that's everything. So I'm gonna go through like before, give these a quick spray down, just like so, really generously, especially these ones over here. I've got some back here, give those a little spray down. And that's it. All of these plants are watered, sprayed and fed. And now I'm gonna head over to the remaining plants. I've got 3 on my stairs and a couple upstairs as well. So I'm gonna give those a quick water and I'm gonna take you guys along on that journey with me. So on the first stop, I've got this begonia over here. Give that a bit of water. I like to give it enough water so it can sit in a little reservoir as well, despite this one being in soil, but it's just such a gorgeous plant. I've got this Dracaena over here. Give that some water. I find if I water this plant too much, some of the leaves go yellow and fall off, so I try to only water it really sparingly. And I've got this peace lily over here. We all know peace lilies love water, so just kind of water from the top, and that's it. All right, we've got some more here. We've got this orchid over here. Next to that, I've got my alocasia over here as well. I'm gonna give that some water. Soil is really dry on this one. I'm gonna pull off this dead leaf as well, like so. This one's on its way out. Well, it's gone, but it's I'm gonna wait for it to fall off on its own before pulling it off. Really do love this plant. Oh, so gorgeous, those white veins. Anyway, I've got some other plants propagating in these zip bags. To be fair, they've been in here for months and I have not even opened the bag in a long time, so God knows what I will find. But some of them have sprouted, which is great, but I do need to find the time to pot these up individually. I've got a ZZ plant propagating over here. I actually lost one cutting. I don't know how I'm doing with these other ones. The leaves do seem a bit softer. I'm not hopeful for that one. And I've got a fig tree. Can't quite remember the name of it, but this one has struggled from day one. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've got it in soil now. Moved it over from pond. See how it goes. But we've got another begonia over here. Oh, beautiful. And interestingly enough, actually, this one, it's got a whole new stem. Can you see that? And that just popped up out of the soil, which is great. 2 new stems actually. There we go. Gorgeous. I can feel it that this plant is really light. This is another thirsty plant, so I try to, when I remember, water this maybe twice a week or so. So yeah, just get that water. Lovely. Before I call it a day in here, spray them down like so. All of them. Good generous spray. And that's it. And I guess that's it. That's all of the plants. Everything has been watered, fed and cared for. This is what a typical weekend looks like for me, trying to sort out my plants. It's a bit manic, I know, and I just thought I'd take you guys along on this journey with me to see what it's like in the real world. It's a bit messy, it's a bit all over the place, but I hope you guys enjoy this video anyway, just to see, you know, the behind the scenes of what I do in terms of caring for my plants. Sometimes it can be really therapeutic just to be alone. You know, it's almost a form of, you know, a way to clear your mind. And it can be great for that. Sometimes it's a bit much, it's a bit too much. So it's just trying to find that right balance. And I think I've struck that today. But that was it. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, keep planting.